It's winter time, and whether you get snow or the temperatures just get a little bit colder, we need knitting projects that cause us to cozy up as we knit them. So here are 5 cozy knitting projects to snuggle up to this winter. The first super cozy knitting project is a shawl. Now when you think your shawl is going to be big, I challenge you to go even bigger because this is going to be so super snuggly to wear either as a shawl over your shoulders or just wrapped around you like a triangle scarf. It's going to be so comfy to actually be able to wear. But while you're knitting it, it's going to be that kind of thing that you can actually have on your lap as you're working your needles, and it'll just be keeping you warm while you're working on the project. And it's just kind of, it gets you excited to actually be able to have the finished project, but it also just keeps you cozy on winter nights as you're knitting. Now this shawl was the Winter Honey Shawl by Andrea Mowry, and I used a merino and cashmere blend. And it is so soft and warm and cozy, and so I love that I was able to work this up. And so I recommend, if you don't have a big cozy shawl, get started on that this winter. The second cozy knitting project to snuggle up with this winter is from this book, Knitting with Icelandic Wool, and it is the Drar Sweater. Now this book is a little tricky to find. I checked it out at our library, and as you can see I have lots of things I want to knit from it, but this sweater in particular is just so cozy. It is knit with a bulky weight Icelandic wool. And these are the 3 colors that I chose to knit with. And it is so very cozy. It's going to be so cozy to cast on after Christmas time. And again, it's one of those big warm things that you can have on your lap as you're knitting, and then will be even warmer and cozier to wear once you're done. And the nice thing is that because it is a bigger yarn, it's gonna go faster. So you're not casting on a sweater now and finishing in March or April when it will be really a little bit too warm to wear it. One thing to note is I think there are a few different books with this title. You want the one that is the author, this author, for that Drar pattern. The next cozy knitting project to cast on and snuggle up with this winter is something I knit a lot around here. They are cabin socks or worsted weight socks. They're a little bit different from DK weight socks. You typically cast on 36 to 42, 44 stitches, and you knit them with wool, and they are meant to be kind of house socks. You can wear them in boots, but they are mostly just like a cozy thing to wrap your toes in. They're wool, so they're toasty, and you can have so much fun. I like to take patterns that I like from sweaters and just plop them onto these socks to give them just like a cozy, like a sweater for your feet feel and look. And again, these go extremely fast because they are a medium 4-sized yarn weight. The 4th cozy knitting project to snuggle up with this winter is called the Plumped Up Cowl by Andrea Mowry. And this is a brioche knitting project. I think it's a 2-color project. And so if you're into that kind of knitting, that's a really great project to work on. If you've never done it, that's probably a really good one to jump into. She said it's extremely easy and beginner friendly for brioche knitting. And I have not knit this one, but I saw her talking about this on her knitting podcast, and the way she was wearing it, and she described just being able to snuggle up and like peek in a hole, and how here in the Midwest, like that is a dream to have something that you can knit that you can pull up so close and you're just snuggled up. There are ways to snuggle up your feet so they're covered in wool, and your body so they're covered in wool, and even like your head and your ears, but there's just something so cozy that is like the picture of just hiding in your little turtle shell when it's so cold and windy. So the Plumped Up Cowl would be a really great one to snuggle up with this winter. And the last cozy knitting project to snuggle up this winter is the Homebody Sweater. Now this is one that's a knitting pattern, but it is by Lady J Crochet. And this is the sweater that you actually, in the pattern, you duplicate stitch across it, writing Homebody. I actually decided I didn't want to do that, even though I loved the look of it in the pattern and all the pictures I saw online. I actually just wanted a very classic shaped sweater. So this one is knit with wool of the Andes. It's worsted weight yarn. It's extremely easy to knit and it's extremely cozy. Again, wear it as you're knitting it across your lap, and then you get to have the finished, very cozy, super soft sweater when you're done. So hopefully those are 5 projects that either you didn't know about or maybe weren't on your radar but you've heard of that maybe you want to cast on, or maybe inspires and maybe it brought up a new idea that you're like, oh, I remember there was this cowl pattern I wanted to try, or there's this sweater pattern I want to try. Just thinking of things that kind of you can embrace and just enjoy the process of knitting it and then actually enjoy the wearing of it afterwards.